Morning, everybody, or afternoon, depends on what time you're watching this video. Hi, Morah, Stacey again. So we're back together for music. Great. Good to see everyone. What we're going to do today is finish up the life of Beethoven, listen to a lot more of his music, actually, that I have set to go for you, and also do our listening game and add something new to the listening game today. So you're going to have 5 intervals that you will know today, not just 4, like we already know 4, right? So let's get going and find out what happens with Beethoven. Do you remember last week we stopped at the point of his life where the 3 noblemen were funding him, were like giving him money to write music, and so he didn't have to worry so much about money, which was nice for him. And today, we're going to actually, before we even start moving forward with his life from where we left off, I didn't get a chance to play the Fidelio Overture for you, which is his one opera that he wrote. What's an opera? You know what an opera is, right? An opera is a big musical show where there are singers on the stage, and the orchestra is usually in the pit below the stage, and it is all sung. Everything is sung. So if they want to say hello, they say, "Hello, how are you?" And every part of the opera is sung. So there's no speaking parts. And there are many famous operas. So Beethoven's one opera, which is also a famous one, is called Fidelio. And we talked about the overture to Fidelio, which is what the orchestra plays before the singers start the show actually starts with all the singers on the stage. And I'm going to actually play Fidelio Overture for you today, right now. We're going to listen to part of it, okay? Okay, so let's go with Mr. Bernstein, Leonard Bernstein. And we are going to select him he's just about to start conducting here. Big pause. The horns, the French horns. You know the symphony orchestra, 4 main families. Here's Fidelio. Overture. So it's very beautiful, and I wanted you to be able to listen to part of it today, since we didn't get a chance last week. Okay, so now we're going to go on with his life. All right, let's get back. Actually, I want to get back to this when we are going to pull up the next piece. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Egmont Overture. And it's another overture. Oh, so that's kind of interesting. We just listened to Fidelio Overture, now the Egmont Overture. And Beethoven was asked to write this music to go along with a play by Goethe. Goethe was a famous German author. The overture is very often performed as a concert piece. We're going to listen. Beethoven very much wanted to meet the famous Goethe. The 2 great men actually got a chance to meet in a city called Teplitz, which is in Austria. Goethe later described Beethoven as a rather wild-mannered man who made life difficult for himself by his cross attitude to the world. What does that mean? It means Beethoven was kind of an angry guy, all right? Well, first of all, he was losing his hearing quite a bit more by now. We're going to talk about that in a minute after we listen to the Egmont Overture. And let's listen now. I have it right here for you. Okay, Edgemont Overture. Right here. And off we go. Let's see, I hope there's not an ad. I had this set up before. Okay, this is all the intro stuff that they have. Like who's playing and who's conducting. This is Kurt Masur conducting the Leipzig Orchestra. Okay. Lots of applause. He's very famous. He was very famous. Here it is. Another overture. Famous by Beethoven. All right. Starts out big. It's very serious and dramatic. All the strings, the violins and the violas and the cellos and the big double bass that you have to stand up to play because it's so tall. That's the oboe from the wind family. And there's the bass oboe. Too, it's just huge. The strings. Very slow and serious. It's very beautiful though. There's the clarinet. And the flute. Can you hear? And the oboes. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what the Edgemont Overture is like. Okay, I'm going to stop that there. I also want to play, before we go on talking about Beethoven losing his hearing, I want to actually play a famous piano piece by Beethoven that we didn't get a chance to listen to last week that I really would love for you to hear. And it's called the Minuet in G. If you've been taking piano for like a year or maybe a year and a half, you should be able to maybe play this song. It's very pretty and it's very easy. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm at the... Oh, it's an ad. I thought we could get away with no ad today, but I can never escape them. Okay, here we go. The Minuet in G is for piano solo. Just one piano, two hands. So famous. That part repeats. Here's the second part. And that part repeats as well. Second part repeats. Beautiful. And then there's another part coming. But we won't listen to the whole thing. I just wanted you to hear that very famous beginning part. All right. What am I doing? Taking my glasses off. I need them. All right. So in a letter that Beethoven was writing to send to a friend in Bonn. Bonn, remember, was where Beethoven was born, in not Austria, right, but Germany. He was writing to this friend about a terrible secret he had had for some time. He knew that he was becoming deaf. For some time, he had spells of fever and stomach pains. It was an illness, and that's what caused him to start losing his hearing, unfortunately. And he was a young man when he started to lose his hearing, so he wasn't expecting this at all. And now finally he was starting to realize that it was happening and to actually face it, like to say, okay, I understand what's happening to myself and I'm going to deal with it. So he was finding it hard to hear what people were saying. Just at the moment when he was starting to become known as one of the greatest of all composers, and this was a terrible blow to him. It was a terrible disappointment to realize that he was losing more and more of his hearing as the years were going by. In 1802, he stayed for a time in Heiligenstadt. That's a big German Viennese city in Vienna. Not in Germany, sorry. So there he wrote a famous letter, which is known as the Heiligenstadt Testament. It is dated October 6th, and in it he writes about that he's getting very frustrated, that he's getting very annoyed, that he keeps like losing more of his hearing. In this letter, he asks people to forgive him if he cannot hear what they are saying, and it's a very emotional letter. And it was found in a lot of paperwork that he had left behind, and it was never sent to anyone. Okay, so by 1814, he was becoming super famous. He was thought of as the greatest composer by the Viennese people, and even beyond Vienna, really. And he was often invited by royal people to their palaces. And this was in 1814. It was the year in which he performed his famous piano trio, Opus 97. Opus means work. So they would number opus. Composers at that time would say Opus 97 number 1. It was a way to keep track of all the music that they wrote. We call it cataloging the music. And that piano trio is called the Archduke. That was the last time he played the piano in public. His deafness was making it impossible to continue. It was very hard to write and listen and play back your music when you can't hear. So around this time, he became guardian of his 9-year-old nephew, whose name was Karl. So actually, for Beethoven at this time, even though it's not easy sometimes to raise, it was his brother's child, and they were relatives, right? So at least it was someone to keep Beethoven company. He wasn't alone, which was good for him. The last years were unhappy years. During this time, he composed very little. Then, in 1817, he recovered and wrote his last 2 symphonies. We're going to listen to Symphony number 9, the final part, and there's a choir. It's called the Choral Symphony. And he also wrote his last 5 piano sonatas we're going to listen, and a group of string quartets. Quartet, remember, it's four instruments in a quartet, all strings, violin, viola, cello, which were so modern. And this group of pieces for the strings were so modern and difficult that very few people at the time understood the music. But nowadays, many people think they are the greatest works ever written for string quartet. Okay, so his 9th symphony, I told you, was called the Choral Symphony. Remember, he only wrote 9 symphonies. I mean, that's a lot of symphonies, but he wrote 9 of them. We talked about that. And there's a choir, a huge choir, and soloists, which are the people that sing by themselves, right, in the last movement. And the movement, as you remember, is part of the symphony or the piano sonata. There are movements, part number 1, part number 2, part number 3, sometimes part number 4. Okay, 3 or 4 of those. All right, so at this time, people did not understand, why would you include a choir in your symphony? It's supposed to be for the orchestra. Beethoven chose the words of a poem by the German poet Schiller, Ein die Freude, Ode to Joy. It's very famous. You're going to listen to it. It is all about living together in peace and harmony, so that it sends an important message to people. This is why it has been chosen in recent years as the national anthem for the European Union, the countries in Europe. The 9th Symphony was performed at a concert in 1824. After the scherzo movement, which is a very fast, like kind of playful movement, the audience applauded enthusiastically, but that's the last movement, by the way. But Beethoven could not hear the applause. He was conducting, but one of the singers had to tap him on the shoulder and turn him around to show him that people were clapping. They were standing and clapping. They were going crazy. They really loved his 9th Symphony. Okay, so we're gonna listen to that part for Ode to Joy on the Ninth Symphony now. Let's go, and we're going to actually go back. Sorry, that's back to the minuet in G, which we already heard. Okay, so we're gonna go over here. Symphony 9. Now I have it stopped at the part, I hope. Let's see. Oh, here it is over here. I have it stopped at the part where they're just about to start Ode to Joy. I got to that part. Listen, and you will hear. I'm going to turn it way up. There's the choir. It's huge. It's like 65 people. Maybe 80 people. And you hear them singing. And I'm sure you recognize. It's all in German. And you know you've heard it before, right? Of course you have. It's super famous. All the beautiful voices, they sing beautifully. And orchestra. And that's the part I wanted you to hear. Okay, so now what we're going to do before we talk about the last little bit of his life is listen to two of my favorite piano sonatas. Just a bit of them, okay? Because I really want you to hear them. Okay, let's go down, over, nope. Let's try that again. Boom, 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 down and up. Okay, here we go. All right, so this one is called the Appassionata, and it's beautiful. Here we go. And I wanted you to hear.
As we all stay home, don't forget to stay active, stay cuddly, stay distanced, stay healthy, and stay comfortable. At Skechers, we know you have a lot of worries. Our machine washable, comfortable shoes shouldn't be one of them. To find the most styles and best values, visit Skechers.com.
Before they will play. All right, here we go. Very fancy. One piano only. All by herself she's playing. It's a beautiful lady playing. Knock, 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 knock. Like the Fifth Symphony, right? Knock, 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 knock. Knock, 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 knock. Very difficult. You have to take for a few years before you can play this. She does the that's a trill. Alright, so I wanted you to hear that because it's beautiful. Now we're going to listen to part of my other favorite piano sonata called the Pathetique. Okay, here we go. Let's see, where is it? The Pathetique. Okay, now I actually don't want the third movement, but you know what? It's beautiful. Let's play the third movement. That's okay. Here we go. This is part 3. Very famous. Very difficult, but beautiful. The big chords. just very zipping fast. And then it slows down. And the fast part comes back. For solo piano. And the theme comes back. All right, wow, I could listen to that all day, but we have to finish up Beethoven's life. So, Beethoven died on March 26, 1827. Tons and tons of people lined the streets for his funeral procession, which is where they go up the street. 20,000 people. That is a lot of people. And that's it for Beethoven. I hope you enjoyed learning about him. There's so much of his music that we did not get to hear, but we did get to hear a lot of many different examples of his music. Okay, we're going to go to the listening game. Remember, I promised you that we would learn something new today, and we're just about to do that. All right, so we know second, blurry and very smushed together. It's so close. We know fourth, or here comes the bride. We know fifth. Fifth. We know octave, C to C, or A to A, or F to F. 2 notes, the same letter name, 8 notes apart. Now, we're going to review those for a minute, and then we'll add in the 7th, okay? The 7th is our new one for today. All right, close your eyes. Here's the first one. I'm going to repeat it. You may open your eyes. All right, what did you guess? Second, fourth, fifth, or octave? If you guess fourth, bingo. Or here comes the bride. Fourth, good. Okay, close your eyes again. All right, you may open your eyes. All right, what our choices? Let's go over our choices. Second, fourth, fifth, or octave. If you said octave, 100%, good for you. If you didn't, it's okay. We have more chances coming up. Close your eyes again. I'm going to do it again. You may open your eyes. Second, fourth, fifth, or octave. What do you say? Fifth? Good. Twinkle, twinkle. Fifth. Okay, close your eyes. Keep them closed. All right, you may open them. Blurry, not sounding great. Did you say second? Good job. Okay, now we're going to add in our new one, 7th. Doesn't sound pretty. Almost as far apart as an octave. Missed it by 1, right? Okay, 7th. I'll play another 7th. Sounds pretty crummy but far apart. Not like a second. Second sounds not so pretty but very smushed close together. 7th sounds not beautiful, farther apart. Okay, now, so let's go through. It could be any of our 5 choices. Let's go in order. 2nd, 4th, 5th, 7th, new guy, or octave. All right, close your eyes. Keep them closed. I'm going to do it again. All right, you may open your eyes. What did you say? 2nd, 4th, 5th, 7th, or octave? If you said octave, good. All right, close your eyes again, please. to separate them and put them together again, repeating. Okay, open your eyes. Second, fourth, fifth, seventh, or octave. Did you say seventh? Good. Far apart, but not pretty sounding together. Doesn't really blend well together, right? All right, close your eyes. Good job, by the way. Keep your eyes closed. Repeating it. You may open your eyes. What did you say? Second, fourth, fifth, seventh, or octave? If you said fourth, right? Here comes the bride, or... Okay, fourth is good. Close your eyes again. I'm going to play it again. Keep those peepers closed. Okay, open your eyes. Second, fourth, fifth, seventh, or octave. Did you say seventh? Good, that's our brand new one. Good. All right, one more. Good. If you didn't get it right, it's okay. We have a lot of choices, so it's getting more complicated, right? All right, but you're good listeners. You can handle it. All right, here's our last one, our final one. Close your eyes. Playing it again. You may open your eyes. What do you think? Second, fourth, fifth, seventh, or octave? Blurry, honk honk, as I like to say, sounds like a horn. Beep beep. Okay, good job. Guys, I'm so proud of you. You did such a wonderful job today in music. We covered a lot of different, we covered Beethoven, the rest of his life, and then we added a new interval, right? The space between two notes, interval. The seventh was our new one today. Good job. We'll get together again next week. Have a great day and a great week. Oh, and Chag Sameach. Happy Shavuos. Happy Shavuot.